Yes, everybody, welcome back. It is your instant match reaction. How are you doing? Oxford United 0, Leeds United 1 in an absolutely incredible win for the Whites as we go back top of the table, 91 points, goal difference in the mid-50s, and Leeds United can taste promotion from the absolute pitfalls of where we were after the 3 draws and the loss in that period where we thought we were going to be playing that song on vinyl, or they were going to be playing that song on vinyl over and over again through the summer. Leeds United have grappled it back, which we've not done. You can look at the 09-10 season, Bristol Rovers, when we absolutely just crawled over the line. You can look at periods gone by, the 18-19 season, where Wilder's team caught us up and them and Farke's Norwich went into the ascendancy, the fantasy land of the Premier League, and Leeds United fell short to Derby County in the semi-finals at home, which absolutely pierced my heart. You can look at last season as Leeds fell apart again toward the back end of the calendar, 3 wins in 11, and this absolute calendar, this absolute catalogue of Leeds United falling apart has been part of us in the last 10 to 15 years. But for the first time in a long time, to just absolutely rewrite that record book, Leeds United, something that I didn't expect, have come back, and we've changed the record book. We've absolutely got the record book. We've scribbled it out. We've thrown it out the door. We've thrown it out the window. We've rewritten it. We've come back. We've shown resolve, resilience, determination, grit, prowess, technical ability in certain times. We've not melted down. And we're back. 3 wins on the bounce in the keyest of times. And did I doubt Leeds United? Of course I did. Look at the bloody history. Look at the history of the club. We've got a repertoire of doing it. And you base everything on evidence. You base everything on historical context as well. But it's very, very recent context as well. And you were thinking in these periods, oh no, the pressure's getting to them again. How are they doing this time? With the wage structure, with the team. But now it feels just there, doesn't it? It feels there. And we're making this theatrical, but it feels theatrical, doesn't it? Leeds United at that point where we were getting rinsed again. I was coming on here saying, what is not again? I put my head above the parapet. I've said we're going up. I've said champions again, ole, ole, with 10 games to go. I've felt the team. I've believed in the team. And it's absolutely slapped me across the face like a wet fish. But we've absolutely grappled it back. We've grappled it back. Sheffield United have fallen apart in their last 4. 1 win in 4. 3 losses, including 1 against the team that we controlled tonight, and 1 and should have had more than 1. Oxford dominated them down at the Kassam. We've gone down there and we should have had much more, and they didn't really threaten. Let's be honest, they didn't really threaten. Leeds were in the ascendancy. Leeds were in control. The pressure didn't get to us. I thought in phases tonight, our combination play under pressure when the Kassam was getting a little bit up, when they saw Will Volks go to the side of the pitch and start up with the Rory Delap. And we said in the pre-match tactical discussion that was going to be exactly where Carl Darlow, Ethan Ampadu, Joe Rodon have such a critical point as a trio in defending Leeds' goal, that 12-yard space, the absolute golden area of which they're going to attack with these long arching throws. Takes you back to Tony Pulis era with Ricardo Fuller, Abdoulaye Faye, all the big lads. And it took me back there when I was seeing Will Volks line up with these absolute 30-yard throws. And it's exactly what we touched on in the preview. They had the exact same lineup as we touched on in the preview as well. But Leeds dealt with it. We're playing our football. We're playing our combinations. There were points where they got on top. But they're going to do that. They're going to feel us out in games like this where they have to stay up. They don't feel like they're done yet in terms of staying up in the division. They need more points. They feel like that, especially with probably the results today, even though I feel Oxford are safe. They've got a good enough team. I thought they were pressing on as well, but I thought how we got out of these situations, how we're able to break the lines, how we're able to be press resistant was really, really good from a Leeds United standpoint. The pressure didn't get to us. I felt in pockets. We were cool, we were calm, we were calculated. And I felt it wasn't the most glossiest performance, but when you look at the performances today, everybody, I've done 3 watchalongs, which comprises of nearly 9 hours of live streams. 9 hours. So please like this video. I really appreciate it. Really would appreciate it. And then after this, after getting your comments in on this, we do have the fan forum where we get Leeds United fans in to have their say. Sign up to the Patreon as well, where we get additional bits on there as well, everybody. But it felt today like, from a general stance, it was big. It was a big Leeds United performance. It was cojones. Mind my French. I don't want to say this, and if you've got children around, close their ears, hands over their ears. It showed bollocks tonight. It showed real bollocks. And to be fair to the team, they have showed it. They went to Borough 3 games ago. And look, you can look at me. Have I been wrong before? Of course, I've been flipping wrong. Yeah. I'm not going to throw it in your face when I am wrong, but I have been wrong. I'm not going to throw it in your face when I've been right, because it is what it is. It's football. We're sometimes wrong. We're sometimes right. But I don't think a lot of us saw this happening at this point in the season. Borough were going there, tails between our legs. Sheffield United had 3 simple games on paper. Millwall, Oxford, and Plymouth. And the run they were in, 8 wins in 9. I just didn't see it. And they've just completely fell apart. And Leeds have taken that opportunity. And how good is it to see? How good is it to see? They got a win today. Fair play to the Blades. They got back on it. But out of the 3 games today, and I've just go back to those 9 hours that I've been watching this football today, and my retinas are about to explode out of my head. We were the best team. The best team. And I thought we had the toughest game this week. I don't think Watford was the toughest game today, even though they gave Burnley a tough showing. And I know we'll look at league standings, but I think that Oxford, especially under Gary Rowett, have been a nightmare. You know, a real nightmare, especially at the Kassam. And we can mention Burnley not picking up all 3 points there. We can mention Sheffield United not picking up all 3 points there. For goodness sake, when Burnley played them, there's an argument they deserve to beat Burnley, you know? And very recently, our promotion rivals have gone down there and done what they've done. And a lot of us on the pre-match were saying, look, a draw would be all right. And I was all right with that. If we'd have drawn the game tonight, I'd have come on, I'd have been disappointed, but I'd have thought, right, on to Stoke, we go again. But absolute mentality monsters towards the end of the season. I've got to celebrate. I've got to clap Daniel Farke. I've got to clap the lads. And I've got to clap the whole, fan base as well. Just immense. Home and away. Leeds fans are a joke. Always have been. Best in the country for me. But I just think the resolve that we've shown, the resilience that we've shown, the grit, as I've mentioned, the determination, all these buzzwords, I can't remember seeing this, to be honest. As I've said, I've experienced this club for 3 or 4 different meltdowns. We didn't even mention previously the Premier League meltdown after we absolutely capitulated against Crystal Palace, where I was sat in the Kop and Palace scored 1 before half-time. Then they went on to score 4 in the second half. And then Leeds just absolutely arses fell out in the remainder of the season. And we completely lost it. Okay, so this has been part of our psyche. It's been absolutely with a rod just smashed into our psychological brains that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens. Something may happen to Leeds United. Something may happen. But it's not. It's not happened. We've now eclipsed Farke's total from last season with 3 games to go. I look at the team, I don't think they look tired. I look at the team, I still see resources. I still see options. I still see quality. Look at the team today, and a lot of people were upset that certain personnel weren't picked. I'm looking at it and I'm going, Ramazani, Schmidt, Bamford, Joseph, Gilavoggi, Verber, Dan James, Melee on the bench. Cut out that last one. I'm joking. That's the bench. We're not talking with the greatest respects of your Chambers and your McKinstries and your McCarrans and all these, but your Gelharts, your Greenwoods. It's not that. It's proper sustenance. It's proper, fully fledged internationals, really, when you look at it. And what it is it's the best squad in the division. And it's the best depth in the division. And that has never changed. It's always been a constant. Always been a constant. There's been a few dips, but I want to say to Daniel Farke and the lads, the last 3 games, they've been immense. The resolve just to get the job done. And this is what I mean with Farke. He has his criticisms. He has his criticisms on this channel, 100%. But I praise the guy as well. Hell of a lot this season. And sometimes I think that does go unnoticed, and I do have to mention that every now and again. So I think I do get badgered as a Farker out brigader. It's not that whatsoever. We're talking about different levels now. We're talking about what will happen maybe if we do get to the Premier League, which I think we will now. What happens? How do we deal with that? That's a conversation for another day. But I'm a Leeds United fan, and I want the best for my club. And it's opinions at the end of the day. They're like, you know what? Okay. And I respect everybody's opinions as long as it's respectful. But he's done a really good job of last 3 games to keep the mentality of this bunch. And it's a young group as well. But they've added in the right areas. The recruitment's been unbelievable. It's probably been the best in my sort of like 2 decades recently. I've been a Leeds United fan. I can't think of a better recruitment spell in a summer where we've not had to do anything in the winter. That's crazy. And we've still got the strongest squad and we've been the best team. We've had a few dips, but look at us and look at us now. You know, there is, I think we will win the league. I think we will. And I think Burnley and Sheffield United will both drop points on Monday. I think Leeds will then beat Stoke and Leeds will get promoted on Monday. I think we'll then go up against Bristol City. And I think we'll beat Bristol City. And we might falter a little bit against Plymouth on the last day. I just think it will. It'll be piss up vibes. But I think that's what's going to happen. And Leeds are going to win the league, in my opinion. And I've never seen this from a general standpoint of my club in the team, in the time that I've supported, with the resolve and the resilience and the grit and the determination, these buzzwords again, when Leeds' backs have been up against that wall, when the backs have been up against wall, when the pressure's on and everybody's in around them, the social media world, which has become a big thing in the last 2 decades, is closing around them. Leeds are falling apart again. Can they deal with it? Well, they've just absolutely broken out the cage and they've dealt with it. They've absolutely dealt with it. And they've done this to everybody else. That's what they've done. And I love that. That's what we've all wanted. Can you carry the white shirt? Can you do it? Can you carry the blue and white shirt and yellow shirt? Can you do that? Well, they have. The lads have. They've stood up in the last 3 games. And that's brilliant. And I'm talking like this in terms of like eventualities, because I think it is an eventuality now. I think it's a formality. Leeds on 91 points. We will get promoted now. We will get promoted. I think we'll get automatically promoted up. I think the Opta stats before the game kicked off were 98.9. Leeds have won the game now, 1 game less, incredible goal difference. And I think it's probably going to be 99 point something now. Opta's barely ever wrong. If you want to go from like a quantitative mathematical standpoint, I know a lot of you are number heads. Leeds have been brilliant in the last 3 games without being exceptional, but they've got the job done and they've not needed to be exceptional. Today, I've watched all 3 games. There was one team in that 3 games who I thought looked like champions, and it was Leeds United. It was not Sheffield United. It was not Burnley, with the greatest of respect. These guys are all there by 100% deserving to be there. All of them. All of them. And I think both teams will get promoted. I mentioned earlier on that Bristol City might be a little bit of a nightmare, but I think by seeing the Sheffield United performance earlier, I think there's going to be probably a little bit of confidence restored within the ranks there. They've got enough quality players on the day to be able to beat a Bristol City in the playoffs or whatever. I think all 3 of us will get promoted, but I think with a better team. And I've always stood by that. I've always stood by the quality and the depth that we've got should be where we are. From August, September, I should say, into the season, day 1, I said Leeds should be promoted with this team, and I'll take no standard less. The expectation is promotion with this squad, with the wage bill, with everything that we've seen this season, with the quality, with the bench, with everything, with the manager who's won 2 promotions. The standard has always been set. Over here, we get promoted. Top 2, not playoffs. Don't want to cack around with that stupid rubbish again. Top 2, it's good enough. The squad has been assembled in a way of which Leeds United should be competing for that top 2 and probably winning the league. And we're at a point now where we're on the cusp of it. And it's exciting. It's exhilarating. And I just feel so it's like a bit of an out-of-body experience again. Like, I'm knackered after all of it. I have to be honest. I feel physically drained right now. This is what Leeds United do to you. But after that performance, a lot of people were saying, well, Connor, you just seem a bit chilled. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm kind of just it's like acceptance phase now. I was closer to the game. My head was like, yeah, we might, screw this up or draw is what I meant by screw this up. But getting into it, it was, brilliant. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Leeds have done it. It feels anyway. David Datty has become a new member. Shout out to you, mate. Michelle, we did it. Rubbish match, but brilliant. I'm going to enjoy my Good Friday afternoon here in Vancouver with 2 p.m. with Sun. Let's get this win on Monday. Shout out to you, Michelle. You've been here right from the start. Wendy and Tony, and Tim have also become members throughout this period as well. March on together says, Bjorn, love you, man. Yeah, 100%, mate. Get your comments in the section below, everybody. The streets are saying Connor McShaggigan has painted the walls right tonight. You little... Juan, I've got a missus in there, mate. She's not going to enjoy hearing you say that. Gabe says less about me loving Darlow and just proving a competent keeper. That doesn't cost 10 points. Okay, Gabe's on one again. Jimmy Glass says, Connor, even a point may be enough if Burnley win. Exactly, mate. Charles said might lose the next 3. We might, mate. I don't think that's going to happen, though, somehow. Putting Darlow in has probably saved us from playoffs. Just imagine if it was from Hull. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly, and that's kind of where we're at on the channel as well. From day dot, really, it's been like if you'd have put him in from the 24th of October after he decided to trip over the ball against Sunderland when Sunderland were top of the table, by the way, and we were just winning 2-1, and Firpo nearly smacked him in the jaw on the pitch. Imagine how different this would have been. I genuinely think Leeds we'd have probably been promoted by March. I genuinely believe that, with how good this team is. And this is why I've constantly been on the bandwagon of supporting the 49ers. I ain't got an agenda. I don't get this. I don't get lovely little things from the 49ers. I wish I did. I don't get nice little interviews, nice little, come to Ellen Road and we'll do it. And we get none of that. And I wish we did from the club, but we get none of that as content creators. They don't see us as valuable assets, which I think is a problem with the communities, the fantastic communities that we all have. And I think I speak for everybody there. But I think when you look at it from an objective standpoint, they've done an excellent job in recruitment from the summer onwards to be able to see us through when you had our rivals adding, both of our rivals adding, all of our rivals from Sunderland with Enzo Lefebvre to Burnley with Marcus Edwards and more, to Sheffield United with adding 5 or 6 bodies, you know, for Leeds United to add none and to be in this position says to me that is outstanding recruitment in the summer. Absolutely outstanding, which gives us wiggle room when we are promoted to the Premier League. And this is what I've always believed. And I'll be so happy for Daniel Farke, for the lads, and especially for the 49ers if we all get promoted, because it should be a collective thing. But from the top down, that is where you serve a good business. It's a trickle-down effect. The 49ers have instilled absolute mentality, monsterish / championship mentality in this group by what they did in the summer. Absolutely outstanding recruitment. And you know, and that goes, it has to be said, you know, a lot of people will say, well, and Daniel Farke's part of that. Of course he is. Of course he is. You know, as much as we can have conversations about him, Championship and Premier League, doesn't matter right now. Doesn't matter. At this moment in time, Daniel Farke is looking likely to do it again for the 3rd time, which is an unbelievable accolade to add to his resume. Domster says, a solid display. We do what we need to do. We go again Monday, where I agree with beat Stoke and Burnley will be a draw. Have a great weekend, Connor. You too, my friend. Pat Bamford playing his part. Gabe has said, guys, forget about Ramazani. He's not going to play under Farke. We just need to accept it, whether we agree or not. The big difference is Darlow. He's in. He is indeed, mate. It's done, Connor. Up the lead, says Al. Cajones is Spanish, so mind your Spanish. I hope we don't get too cocky and underestimate, or obviously an extremely full mailbox in case. You just got to deal with it, mate. 49ers are winning the Super Bowl, 100%. Honestly, since Darlow came in, we look so much better. It is true. I mean, you just look at it and you look at the confidence within the group, lads and lasses, the confidence, the ball's been played into the box. If you noticed how Oxford weren't putting it on the keeper as much, I said this about Preston. There is not just like a direct line consistently where every set piece is getting put on our goalkeeper. Why? Because our goalkeeper deals with it. Our goalkeeper can catch. Our goalkeeper can punch the ball. And someone said to me, do you know what I mean? In January, they said, Connor, what you probably don't understand about Ilan Meslier is that he's instructed to punch. So I messaged that individual back a couple of days ago and I said, well, why does Darlow catch the ball then? Why would that not be an instruction? It's because it's not an instruction. It's because that's Ilan Mellier's way of dealing with pressure. It's to punch it. It's to not take the risk and collect the ball. And there might be a mistake in there, which we've seen multiple times before. Probably the most recent and obvious one being Sheffield United, where he dropped a few and Gruev had to get him out of the doo-doo. Carl Darlow is just a level up and a level 2 up. And this is exactly what you were all saying and what I was saying on the One Leeds fan channel for a long, long time. And eventually he's got rid of him. We've got the best squad in the division. And this is how it should have been. This is how it should have been. And I'm drained now, but I'm happy. Really, really happy. Loft says, Connor, fancy a draw from Sheffield United and Burnley for the title. And that will be a draw, mate. I think they're going to go together. And I think Sheffield United will have a lot. I think they will have a lot. I think Sheffield are going to be a problem for Burnley. I think Burnley, today in particular, showed that they can be got at through the lines. I thought Watford did a really good job. Watford were unlucky today. They were really, really unlucky. And Burnley grinded it out. And they've got a top draw keeper at this level. They've got a top draw keeper at this level. That is what it can be described as. James Trafford's a joke, and he will be playing for Newcastle in the Premier League and probably the Champions League in the next couple of years. That's how good he is. His saves today were outrageous for Burnley. The Kiembe one is probably the save of the season, where Kiembe's hit the bar and he's tipped it onto the bar. It's an outrageous save. So that's the difference between a lot of teams. But I think now maybe individuals, maybe you didn't think goalkeepers were important. This season, we've seen the most importance of them. You know, we saw it last season with the likes of Hermansen, you know, Khledaki and Mele in that conversation. But this season, we've seen it even more with the likes of Cooper and the likes of, obviously, Trafford. And I hope Leeds now, for probably the first time in 10 to 15 years, actually start prioritising a goalkeeper and not just thinking that 10 outfield players can win the game and the goalkeeper is just obviously a mannequin. We have to recruit a top goalkeeper for the next level. And get rid of this just sort of like mediocre mentality of it's okay having this person in there and just keeping this person in there because we all like him. Sentiment's got to get out the window, and hopefully that's going to be the how Leeds are, you know, going forward. Chris says they're saying that all we need is 7 points out the last few games. And that we played to guaranteed promotion. It'll be less than that, I think, mate. It'll be less than that now. Will has said as well, absolutely thrilled, but my God, that was boring. Typical Fark ball bring on Monday. Yeah, mate, I know what you mean. It was a poor watch, wasn't it? But it is what it is. Wilson, you have to Stoke on Monday. Might do, mate. Might do. John says you're getting in front of yourself. Connor, remember last time you got this cocky? Yeah, mate, that was 10 games to go, and I could have been right 10 games ago, technically. Champions again, ole, ole. What we're saying. Harvey agrees. That's the thing. You can't win. You can't win doing this game, mate. You can't win. You're either too negative or too positive. You can't win. You're either too brash or you're too reserved. It is what it is. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying as well in the comment section. Connor, I've got the home top you're wearing signed by the whole team. It's yours. Oh, mate, I'd love that. Thank you so much. If you do that, that'd be great, because I'm suddenly out of pocket because I've decided to buy a Rafinha one the other day when I'd had a few beers. So well done, Connor. Jake says, do you think Monday's the day? Then Connor, I do, mate. Yeah, I do. And when I'm saying it, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like when I'm saying it, it's like, oh, okay, maybe this guy will wait and wait and wait. Even though, to be fair, in that Sheffield United game, look, context applied to that, guys. I went on the stream and I was singing it because all the Leeds fans were singing it. I didn't actually fully believe it at that point. It's Conor McGilligan with 10 games left. Are you joking? You all know me. Come on. Now I will say that yes, okay. I will go for it and say, I think we'll win the league. I do think we'll win the league. So at least therapy. Hi, Paul. 4 points does it. Yes, I agree with you, man. I think that will do. Jimmy Glasses, Blades, Ramble can wear that shirt. Connor, yeah, exactly. Helen says, I'm just on my way back from Oxford. Get the gin. Well done, Helen. How was it down there? You guys were fantastic. The Leeds fans down there. Could hear you down there. And this is the thing. Graham said, who cares if it was a bit boring? Who's asked? Do you know what I mean? Who's bothered? Like, are we looking at that Burnley performance today? And Sheffield United, with the greatest of respect to them, they weren't that different from an abhorrently bad Cardiff side. Probably one of the, bearing in mind, we drilled them to 7 earlier on in the season. They've got worse since then. And Sheffield United, look, it's 2 goals. Who cares? It doesn't matter how the goals are scored. But they beat them by like 2 ricochet chances. And Sheffield United were all right. They were okay against them. That first 25, 30 minutes was very nervy. And Cardiff got into it in the second half. They're just bad. A very bad team. But Sheffield United were not convincing at all there, but they got the win. Do you think Sheffield United fans will care? Probably not. But, you know, you kind of look as well at the Burnley game. Burnley don't care right now. It's just about getting those points. But I think the pivotal point of this season right now is Leeds recovering with those 2 wins against Borough and Preston. And Sheffield United absolutely imploding against Oxford, against Millwall and Plymouth. That's been the key point in the season. That's been the key change. And it should have been done way earlier, because I think we're a much better team than Sheffield United. And a lot of people will say that's arrogant, but I think you get rid of the goalkeeper a lot earlier on. I think Leeds are in a much better standing. I genuinely believe that. Because I think Darlow, you've seen him, guys. He catches the ball. It's great, isn't it? He catches the ball and he can make saves. You know, he can make saves and he looks confident. And teams aren't tactically trying to target him now, which every single team was doing against Elan Melee. Anytime they went forward, and then you're getting rolled on Firpo and Tanaka shouting at him on the floor and just having no confidence in him, you know? So it's just so important, the substitutions that have been made. Farker just said Joe Roden has won 127 headers today. Is that right? Wow. That is incredible. Where's Jim Bob? Jim Bob will be coming on my show in about 2 minutes, everybody. So I'm going to go and see you over there. Matt, my man, my guy. Me and Matt might be doing something very soon as well. Yeah, man. Cheers, man. £5 donation. Thanks for the monumental announcement today. It's been tough, mate. It's been tough. But we're heading over to the fan forum, everybody. We're nearly done. We're nearly there. Please make sure you hit a like on this video before you leave. I really appreciate your support, everybody. It's been nearly 9 hours of this now. So please help me. Please. I'm dying. But it's been worth it. Leeds on 91. Guys, I'll see you on the fan forum in just a sec. Cheers.